David France, Joy Thompson, Howard Gertler, Sarah Rapsky, the little girl.
Peter is always ahead of all of us, right? He's always the first one there. Thank you for this. This is so exciting. There are so many people. Joy, and I want to thank Joy, who's my producing partner from the first day in this. Starting with Howard Gertler, who came in to teach us how to make a film and to make this thing work, and IFC, our distributor, who saw the power of this story and saw that there were future generations that could benefit and could actually be interested in hearing the stories of our past. You know, How to Survive a Plague is a story about a personal history. I mean, it's what I saw. It's what many of you saw. It's a history that somehow got lost about how a microscopic virus exposed one of the worst histories in one of the worst chapters in American history, and how political indifference and religious hostility allowed an infection that claimed at first 41 people to go on to claim over 70 million people. And how our community worked together to build a safety net to take care of people who were sick and respond to that epidemic, and ultimately how a small group of people taught themselves science in a way to try to climb into the halls of research and work with the researchers to ultimately produce the drugs that made survival possible, and ultimately saved the lives of 8 million people. And that's an incredible story, and it's an incredible legacy that we can all claim. There are so many people to thank along with us that we'd like to thank for this and to share this award with. And first and foremost are all the people who didn't make it through the plague years in America. And among those people is Bob Rafsky, one of the principals in ACT UP and one of the principal forces in AIDS activism. And we're here with his daughter tonight, Sarah Rafsky, representing him. And also, I'd like to personally remember my lover from the time, Doug Gould, who fought so gracefully against the virus. And then all the people who got us to where we are today, and principal among them is Peter Staley, although he represents so many people who did such incredible work back then. And so for ACT UP, for TAG, and for the people who are AIDS activists and AIDS treatment activists on the ground who gave us this future that we all enjoy today, thank you.
Thanks to Herndon and Glaad for this award and for saying that this history is important. Thanks to Anderson Cooper for bringing our stories to a larger audience, and for remembering our heroes like Spencer Cox, and for having the kind of empathy and humility that was exemplified by Vito Russo. And thanks to Joy Thompson, Howard Gertler, the team at IFC, and especially David France, for beautifully capturing, for all time, those tragic yet inspiring years too few of us survived. As Larry Kramer said, the AIDS activism that led to the breakthrough treatments in 1996 stands as the proudest achievement the gay population of this world can ever claim. But let's face it, a lot of us walked away from the fight after the drugs came out. Given the overwhelming fatigue we all felt after 15 years of unrelenting death, wanting to put this behind us is understandable. But the AIDS crisis didn't end. We've let our guard down, and it shows. An estimated 30,000 gay men become infected with HIV in the last few years, every single year. Gay men are only about 2% of the US population, but we're now the fastest growing group of new infections, accounting for 63% of total infections in recent years. Most of these are young gay men, and over half of these 13 to 24-year-olds are black gay men. Why aren't these numbers shocking us? Nearly 7,000 gay men still die from AIDS in this country each year. I realize that gay marriage is important and worth fighting for, but shouldn't our national gay rights groups be doing more than token levels of activism around HIV/AIDS? I'm not talking about Glaad here. I think they're actually doing really good work, but we know the organizations I'm referring to. This is by far the biggest healthcare issue in the gay community, and we are getting rolled on AIDS policy these days, whether it's the newly reinstituted ban on funding needle exchange, or laws criminalizing people with HIV, or the minuscule amounts the CDC spends for prevention targeting gay men. We have the power and the tools now to turn around these infection rates. We proved it once, we can do it again, we can end this silence and finish the job. We can all act up a little for the health of future generations. Thanks for listening.